The name Penton speaks of quality and integrity in the history of off-road motorcycling. There are legendary Penton motorcycles themselves, some of the finest off-road machines in the world. There is the Penton family, with multiple Hall of Famers and off-road champions. And then there's the man himself, John Penton, the patriarch who started it all with a dream, fierce determination, and an unmatched love of motorcycling. John Penton was born August 19, 1925. He grew up on the family farm in Amherst, Ohio, and learned to ride on an old 1914 Harley-Davidson found stored in the barn. During World War II, John served in the Merchant Marine and the U.S. Navy. After the war, he purchased a used Harley-Davidson knucklehead. In 1948, he set off for the Jack Pine Enduro and was impressed by the event winner, Earl Flanders, riding an AJS. The AJS was a featherweight compared to the big American machines and got John dreaming about lightweight off-road motorcycles. In 1949, John returned to the Jack Pine, this time on a lightweight BSA. He finished second by a single point, and from that point on, John's mission was to build competitive off-road motorcycles. In 1950, John and his brothers opened a motorcycle dealership in Amherst to go with their machine shop, where early modifications to bikes were made. They carried BSA, BMW, and NSU brands, as well as new bikes from Japan, starting in the early 1960s. John became known as a championship-caliber enduro rider, winning nationals in New Jersey, Georgia, Florida, and Ohio, along with the famous Jack Pine Enduro and the Canadian Corduroy Enduro. In 1959, John left New York City and set off for California on a BMW outfitted with an oversized gas tank. 52 hours and 11 minutes later, Penton rolled into Los Angeles to set a New York to LA transcontinental record with Earl Flanders, who had joined him for the last leg through the California desert. John won the Jack Pine again in '62 on a modified R27 BMW. BMW then sponsored John at the ISDT in Germany, joining Bud Ekins, representing the United States, with Ekins' friend Steve McQueen there as a spectator between filming for The Great Escape. Riding for the USA and Germany at the 6 days was a turning point in John's life. John was impressed at the level of performance the Europeans were getting out of lightweight two-strokes. In 1966, Edison Dye and Penton partnered, and Penton became the Eastern U.S. distributor for Husqvarna motorcycles. John began racing the Huskies, winning another Jack Pine National in '67, but wanted Husky to build a small displacement off-road bike. They declined. Undeterred, John then pitched his idea for a lightweight, ready-to-race 125cc machine to the owner of KTM, Eric Trunkenpolz. KTM produced mopeds and small displacement street motorcycles at the time. Penton offered to put up $6,000 of his own money if KTM would build a prototype 125cc purpose-built off-road bike and 10 pre-production motorcycles. KTM agreed, and in 1968, John took delivery of those first 10 125cc Penton motorcycles. March 1968. Within a week, 6 of those machines were winning class championships at national enduros. Demand for the Penton bikes grew, as well as the dealer network, and more than 400 new Penton motorcycles were sold in the first year. Texas and California operations were soon set up for Penton imports. In the 10 years between 1968 and 1977, more than 25,000 Penton motorcycles were sold in America, and a generation of riders from beginners to top pros like Marty Smith, Marty Tripes, and future MX World Champion Danny Laporte owned and raced a Penton. In 1978, the Penton brand name was retired as KTM began direct distribution of their badge in America. Today, KTMs have won countless championships. True to John Penton's original burning desire, they are ready to race. But it was not just off-road motorcycles that John Penton revolutionized. In the early 70s, he approached the Italian bootmaker Alpinestars with a purpose-built off-road motorcycle boot. The result was high-point boots. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, high-point boots with their distinctive metal plate on the front were considered a must-have by motocross and off-road racers in America. John was inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame in 1998, with sons Jack and Tom following him into the Hall of Fame in 99 and 2000. John Penton's unique methods of developing and promoting off-road motorcycles revolutionized the industry. His passion and support for a generation of American off-road riders lives on through the successful KTM and Husqvarna brands. The Trailblazers proudly welcome John Penton to the Hall of Fame.